Hello, welcome once again to another edition of the Coach's Corner program, the first one of the year. I'm Jeff Ruth, and Charles, I'll call you Charles now, and I'll never call you Charles
That's
again.
right. No, that's good.
Chuck was the new head football coach here at Marion Harding. I know it was a tough one last week. We'll talk about that game in a moment, but talk a little bit about the decision to come to Marion Harding and what prompted that.
There was a lot that went into it. I kept my eye on the program for a while. My son's married to Gary Barber, the old superintendent here, so he'd always told me what a special place this was, and I've talked to Coach Hinton numerous times up at Ohio State now, and he told me what a special place it was, and it just seemed like the right time to make the move up here, so that's what I did.
Well, before we talk about the Mount Vernon game, talk a little bit about what you did this summer, getting the kids into camp, 7-on-7 drills, scrimmages, that sort of thing to get ready for the season.
Yeah, our kids worked hard. I got here in March. Appreciate Coach Mr. Kearns getting me up here earlier than I was supposed to come in, not until June, so I did get here. So we got some winter lifting in. Then Ohio High School changed the rule this year. We were allowed to start on May 15th, so we used our practices. We're allowed to have balls out, and we did those practices. We got 10 of those, and you got 5 more acclimation days in July. So we got more than ever in Ohio since I've been doing it 22 years. So it was a lot. We got a lot in. We got most of our base stuff in. But the kids worked hard all summer. We had summer camp, and then we of course had 2-a-days. They've shortened a great bit now because of we come back to school so early. So we went through that, and 7-on-7, I think we had 4 or 5 of those. Then we had some big man challenges, which we did really well. I think we went to a tournament in Grandview. I think we went 6-1. We played 7 games down there. Our scrimmages this year were Westland, Centennial, Toledo, Scott. We did a 4-way there. And then, of course, we did our Jamboree game here with Whitehall.
Talk about the Mount Vernon game, because on paper and looking at some stats, you did a lot of things well, but you couldn't tell it by the final score.
Right, absolutely. You look at I have the stats here in front of me. We were plus in 4 out of the 5 major categories. Total place, we were plus 20. We ran 20 more plays than they did. Total yards, we were plus 88. Passing yards, first downs, we were plus 11. We had 11 more first downs than they did. Passing yards, we were 408 to 320. So statistically, we got dominated the game, but we turned the ball over, and you can't turn the ball over and win football games.
It's an adage since before Newt Rockney, the team that makes the fewest mistakes and doesn't turn the ball over generally wins, and you saw that last week.
Yep, absolutely. And, the score was not any indication the way the game ended, because it was a 2-score game, and we were on the 1-yard line going in at 30, I think it was 30-21. We're going 30-20, we're going in to score. And then we fumble, and they scoop and score 99 yards, and then they get another cheap one at the end. So it wasn't as bad as it looked, but still we didn't take care of business.
There were some coachable moments this week, right?
Yeah, we did a lot of ball security drills the last couple of days, and we'll do them again today.
Okay. We'll come back. We'll take a look at some of the highlights from the game against Mount Vernon. A little later, we'll preview the game coming up this Friday against Ashland. We'll be back right after these words.
Welcome to Harding Telecom Digital Media. Unlike television, print, and radio media, which are all one-way communications, digital media creates an interconnected world of interactive communications that puts you in control of content creation and broadcasting. As a member of Harding Telecom, we have 3 ways of building your digital media skills. As an underclassman, you can take our semester-long class, Intro to Video Editing, where you'll be introduced to the latest hardware and software in digital media. Learn to create your own content with overlays, special effects, and audio processors. Your content will only be limited by your imagination. Telecom 1 is a year-long class that introduces you to the world of audio-video broadcast communications. Here you will learn how to operate video hardware and software, design sets, direct and produce events, and expand your editing capabilities broadcasting online and over our public access television channel. You will learn to produce daily news announcements and share your creations throughout our cable television and social media networks. Finally, Telecom 2 is our year-long class available for upperclassmen who have completed the prerequisite Telecom 1 class. Here you will produce and direct your own broadcast events. You will be put in charge of productions and lead other students through the introductory processes of media production. Many of our telecom graduates have gone on to study broadcast media in college and launched careers as television news and weather personalities, Emmy-winning editors for nationally syndicated television shows, and audio production engineers. So don't hesitate to schedule Harding Telecom Digital Media. Talk to your guidance counselor or see Mr. Mullins in room 201.
Once again, back on the Coach's Corner program and talking with the new Harding head football coach. Before we talk about Mount Vernon, talk a little bit about some of your assistants. Did you bring some of your assistants with you, or did you keep a lot from last year? How did that work?
It was kind of 50-50. I relied on administration here, Mr. Kearns, and some of the administration, Mr. Gainer, to kind of steer me towards people that had been here before and people in the community that would be a good fit. Our staff this year, I think we're excellent staff. Coach Andrew Sorowski, he's a math teacher here in the building. He started 4 years at Baldwin Wallace. I believe it's Baldwin Wallace. He's our O-line coach. Running back coach is Ryan Fritsch. He's from this area. He does a fantastic job with our running backs. Wide receiver coach, we got lucky. Andrew Bazell played at Otterbein. He's a Harding graduate. He was a good player here. He's done a great job. He's the offense coordinator. He coordinates the offense, and he does all the signaling for us. On the defense, I work with the quarterbacks, defensive side of the ball, defensive line. Mike Van Meter is a community guy that does an excellent job with our D-line. Sam Nicolosi, who's been around the program for a long time. We'll go a long time, but he does an excellent. He's got a pulse on the community, and he lets us know. He knows all these kids since they were little guys. Kyle Kern is our defense coordinator. I interviewed for defense coordinator because I have my hands on the offense, but I needed somebody strong on the defense side. He came over from Pleasant. He was a great add-on. He knows his stuff. He works hard. Who am I forgetting? Oh, Trent Ramsey. Trent Ramsey's a young and upcoming coach. He does a little bit of everything. He works a little bit with the offense, a little bit with the defense. He does a lot of the organization pieces, and he's a really good football coach.
Good. A lot of enthusiasm, it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from the game last week on the road at Mount Vernon. Kind of tough because your first two games this year were both on the road.
Yep, unfortunately. And the trips here, we call this 80 bowls. You got to double out and up by number 2. First guy's clearing it out. Ray J makes a nice play. Alex makes a nice read. He just reads 1, 2, down to 3. He went with number 2 on the out and up. This is a scramble drill. We drill this. Once if it breaks down, each player has a specific area of the field he's got to get to. And Connor Pennington did a really good job there to get to where he needed to be for the touchdown. This was crack screen, I believe. We ran a little screen. We sell it one way and throw it back the other way.
I know you were up, you scored the first touchdown, and then you went for 2. Is that generally going to be the trend?
Our kicker broke his collarbone on the first kickoff of the game.
Oh.
So he was knocked out, and we didn't. And we actually had another today. A kicker come in yesterday, and we were using him. So
Okay.
yeah, it was an unfortunate break for us.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Alex, again, does a nice job working away from pressure, making a nice throw. He goes to Keontae here, Keontae Scott. We found a little hole in their defense. We hit it twice. And again, you look at the stats, they're in our favor. Except that one.
Yep. Yep, 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, an interception, and a couple of mistakes, I guess, on
Yep.
special teams as
Yep,
well.
yep.
We're going to be talking with Alex here in just a moment. He's got some leadership abilities. He's got some experience. You mentioned you work with the quarterbacks.
Right.
Talk a little bit about what you've seen from him so
Oh,
far.
he is an unbelievable person, football player. He has a cannon for an arm. He'll play the collegiate level. He just does all the right things. He's the hardest worker on the team. He's the strongest kid we have on our football team. Physically, he can lift more weight than anybody, and that doesn't come by chance. It's hard work that he puts in. He film study. He's on it. Yeah, he's just a great all-around leader and football player.
Do you have a lot? Are you doing a lot of 2 platooning this year?
Yes,
or-
yes, we're total 2 platoon. We have some situational guys that we'll put in, guys such as Parker Davis, Marquise Long, Ridge Barkley. Some of those guys situationally they'll come in and do some stuff, but pretty much across the board we're 2 platoon. We practice separately. The defense and offense practice separately.
How many guys out this year?
Close to 70.
Okay.
We got 26, 27 freshmen. So we're playing a freshman schedule this year,
Okay.
which is good.
All right, very good. We'll come back. We'll talk with Alex. We'll do that right after these words. Once again, back on our Coach's Corner program. This is the segment where we talk to a player, or sometimes we'll talk to a couple of players. Alex Stokes, you get to do single duty today, quarterback. Coach just talked a little bit about what a leader you are. First of all, talk a little bit about having a new coach, and you've gone through this, the last couple of years, getting a new coaching system. Just kind of talk a little bit about how you've adapted to the new system.
I'm pretty used to it. I've had 4 different coaches my past 4 years of high school, so it's not really that big a difference. But
I know maybe not for you necessarily after you graduate, but I know for some of the younger kids that stability is important, isn't it?
yeah, it's important. They don't realize what they have yet, but next couple years the program is going to build bigger and bigger and bigger. So.
Yeah. You're the quarterback, obviously one of the leaders, if not the leader on the team. Just kind of talk a little bit about how your game maybe has progressed over the years to where you are now.
I feel like my footwork's got a lot better. It still needs a lot of improvement, but my footwork, just being comfortable in the pocket, making my reads, and just being comfortable out there.
Talk a little bit about the play of the offensive line maybe in that first game, and talk a little bit about the fact that you expect them to get better as well.
Yeah, I mean, without the offensive line, I can't really do anything. I've seen that the past couple years, but this year I feel like they're doing a lot better. We have a great offensive line coach, which helps a lot, and that just helps more.
3rd and 10, you're back to pass.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's covered. Are you going to wait to the last second to try and find somebody, or are you going to take off?
I'll probably take off, but just keep my eyes downfield in case something comes open.
Okay. Are you comfortable running the football?
Yeah,
And you got some speed too, which helps a lot.
a little bit.
Now you play basketball.
Yes.
You also do track.
Yeah.
Do you have coaches right here? So I know the answer, but do you have a favorite sport?
It's football.
Yeah, I thought it probably was.
Yeah.
Just kind of talk a little bit. Last year the team struggled. Really, it's struggled the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about trying to get that positive mindset and getting people to believe that this team is better than they've been the last couple of years.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot easier to have a positive mindset when you believe in the coaches. I feel like the last couple years we didn't really believe in the coaches, so it was kind of hard to keep a positive mindset and respect them. But I feel like we have another level of respect for the coaches that we have now, so it's easier to be positive about things going on.
I think that's an important attribute. 0-1, it's tough to go 10-0, obviously, but talk a little bit about how practice has been this week. Everybody's still very upbeat after last week?
Practice has been all right. We still got to learn to lock in and focus and make sure we know our assignment and do the right things.
All right. Overall, do you have any goals for either yourself or for the team?
Just win games.
Win games, all right.
Games.
Well, Alex, appreciate your time. Best of luck. I know coaching staff has a lot of faith in you, and they expect big things from you, and I'm sure you're going to deliver. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
We'll be back with the coach. We're going to talk about Friday night's game with Ashland. We'll do that right after these words.
Global logistics is the process of managing the flow of resources or goods between businesses and the consumers. In addition, global logistics analyzes the acquisition of goods, how the goods are stored, and the methods of transporting the goods within a supply chain. At Harding High School, we are proud to offer a 2-year class in the study of global logistics. In this class, students will receive an English credit for taking Logistics 1. They will also participate in multiple field trips, making connections through real-world projects with local businesses. These students will obtain Career Pathway Logistics certification, earning 12 credits for graduation. Students may also earn Lean Six Sigma certification, giving them a credentialed advantage in the job market. However, most importantly, logistics offers transferable life skills including communications, economic forecasting, workflow optimization, general management, and financial planning skills that will make them invaluable to any career they pursue. If you're interested in global logistics, don't hesitate. Talk to your guidance counselor or stop in to see Mr. Ellis in room 245 for more information.
Back to wrap up this edition of the Coach's Corner program. Coach, you go on the road second week in a row against an Ashland ball club. And with the Erie Bell, there's a lot of tradition over the years going way back between Marion, Harding, and Ashland.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great rivalry. We're looking forward to it. They're a very good football team, well coached, got good players. We believe our guys will be up to the task come Friday night. We did some things that we fixed them. We're a pretty good football team.
You mentioned kicker getting hurt on the first play of the game. I know Adams, I think, got hurt earliher in the year,
Yep.
and he's out for an
Yeah,
extended period of time.
He's ACL. He'll be done for the year.
Yeah, boy, that's tough right off the bat when
Yep.
a couple guys you're going to depend on are hurt like that.
He's a good player. Good thing is, we have a little bit of depth. Landon Keller has stepped up tremendously. I mean, I can't say enough about him. He was going to be a backup linebacker, and him and Justin Long have just been phenomenal flying around in football. We couldn't be more pleased with him. Losing Landon was tough because he is a really good football player.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes the next man's got to step up, and
Yep.
they seem to be up to the task.
Talk a little bit about Ashland, what they bring.
They're a good football team. They'll go 5 wide. Quarterback, sophomore. I think he's a 3-star. He's a pretty good player. He can throw the ball around. They got good receivers. Number 20, the running back. He runs hard. Defensively, they're very complex. Alex is doing a good job of figuring out, through his film study. We do that on. He comes in on Sunday, which is hats off to him. Most teenagers aren't doing that, but we're game planning. He comes in, he's part of the game plan. He has input on it. They try to disguise coverages, and I think he's doing a really good job of figuring out what they're doing and what they're trying to do. And then we feel we have athletes that we can get them out in space. We can do some really special things.
Okay. Hopefully you can turn it around this week against Ashland and then get ready for a couple of home games. Coach, appreciate it.
That's the plan. Thanks, sir.
Best of luck. It's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Coach's Corner program. I'm Jeff Ruth.